Well, welcome folks to the week following October 4th, the 18th Sunday after Pentecost. And today we're talking about Moses and God's name. Now, at this point, Israel is in slavery. We start the book of Exodus now. And we find out at the very beginning that Israel, a new Pharaoh comes that doesn't know the story of Joseph, doesn't know Joseph. And the people are put under oppression, for people misunderstand. The new Pharaoh doesn't understand who these people are and the promise that was made to them by the Pharaoh. But so he sees them as a threat and puts them under oppression to try to keep them contained. But the more they are oppressed, the more God bless them. And the people multiply. And we know that this is almost 400 years. And they go from a family of 75 to, who knows, 2 million, I think is sometimes the estimate. But one of the things that the Pharaoh tries to do to suppress the people is he tells the midwives who help to deliver the children that they are to make sure that they kill the boy children and leave the female children, to try to erase Israel from the map. But the face of the earth, I should say. But the midwives fear God more than they fear Pharaoh. And we actually know their names, Shiphrah and Puah, which we don't very often get to know the names of women. And a interesting story that appears, Moses is born to a Hebrew family, an Israelite family, and they do what Pharaoh says. After a while, Pharaoh kind of caught on that something wasn't right and said that all of male children of Israel should be thrown in the river. So his mother puts him in a basket, a thing called an ark, and puts him in the river. And his sister Miriam watches, and guess what? Little twist on fate here is this child is found by Pharaoh's daughter, who has been longing for a child. The river Nile is a god, and so the god delivers her request, and she gets to name the child. We find out his name is Moses because it means I have drawn you from the waters. And then we skip a little over to chapter 3 when Moses, as a grown man, has been exiled from Israel or from Egypt, and he sees a burning bush in the distance. And the bush is not being consumed. And he goes over, and there is God calling him to be the one to go and be the rescuer of his people. And Moses is not real receptive to this. You know, he's got a little history. He's not quite sure what people he belongs to. And he finally thinks, okay, I'm going to try this. And says, well, who do I say sent me? And God tells us his name. I am who I am. The great I am. So this whole story has a lot about names and what names mean and how names identify us. So I'm going to be curious to see how Mark later in his gospel uses this idea of names. And, knowing someone's name is important. It helps create a relationship with the person. So I invite you this week to try to learn people's names. Use them. When you're at the grocery store and you see the name on the clerk, thank them by name. Whatever, however you could do that, to use someone's name, and it is a sweet sound to anyone when they hear their name, especially used in praise and thanksgiving. So I invite you to join me in the prayer. God of deliverance, you called Moses to be your hands, feet, and voice in a troubled world. Teach us how to work, walk, and speak in words in a troubled world. Amen. And remember, God named you as his child. He knew you from before you were even born. Have a great week. See you later.